What is up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
First and foremost, if you want to know who the hell you're listening to, I'm Trevor Crash Knight. You are tuned into the Crash Course Metal Show. So, we are going to be doing an album review here today, and that is going to be The Devil's Train 2022 release, their third album in their discography called Ashes and Bones. This is off of Roar Records, and like I said, I have heard of Devil's Train before. I just recently picked this up because I have been looking for it recently because I do remember seeing one of their music videos, and that is You Promised Me Love. I remember when that around the time it came out because that's the first video and song I heard of Devil's Train, and I was hooked. But I went on Roar's website. I can't remember where I went, but were either out of stock or the price or like the shipping was like kind of crazy. So I kind of held off a little bit on that. But then a couple weeks ago, I found it on Amazon, brand new, which I don't know if it was there the whole time or not, but I'm glad I got it now finally after a year of looking. But it was worth the wait though, because this is Devil's Train kind of reminds me a little bit of a Black Label Society a little bit, but more on the sleazier side of things. Maybe not as crazy solos either. Like the solos are good, but nothing crazy. It's what the song needs. It's not no flaring, just like going crazy like Zach Wild does. But there are hints of that. Like you can hear some of that. And then but a little bit more on the modern hard rock blues side of things. Not like your mainstream modern metal, nothing like that. But maybe like a little bit of like a Blackstone Cherry, if anyone's familiar with them. Like I said, Black Label Society. And even like maybe like if you want to compare something earlier, maybe like throw a hint of Whitesnake in there as well. You got RD, the lead vocalist. His voice has a little bit of a raspiness to it, but not like a spike from the Choir Boys or anything like that. It's still clear and it's powerful too. So the band sounds really good on this album. This is the first album I have. I do have another one of their albums that I picked up around the time I picked this up because I thought, if I'm going to be on a Devil's Train, I might as well get on the train and get the rest of their stuff because I like every song I hear off of this album before I picked up anything and like their other stuff as well. I dig it. So I thought, what, for the good price I seen both of these, I thought, I want to just pick them up and see what we got. But it is also produced by RD, the lead vocalist, and that's awesome as well. You see this a lot with new bands or like newer bands. They're taking a lot more like responsibilities in their hands because times are changing in the music industry. Times have changed the last 10, 15 years with the expansion and explosion of technology, and that a lot of bands can do their own work now and produce themselves and do everything themselves, which does suck kind of, but at the same time you don't really have someone looking over your shoulder either and telling you what to do, how to do this song, and give or take. So let us here jump into a couple of the tracks. And so you got 12 tracks total, and most of them are good. Like even like from the very first spin I spun this album, the first song and the intro song jumped right out. The intro track, The Devil and the Blues, a great mid-tempo, bluesy, like a southern sleazy feel. Now, these guys do kind of give you a little bit of a sleaze vibe to them, with the way they look, or maybe even like the best way kind of it to explain it is like like a Black Label Society Zach look a little bit to them. It's not like your early 90s sleaze per se look. It's kind of like your modern biker a little bit look, what you would see out at Sturgis and, shit like that. But really cool. Even RD kind of reminds me a little bit of a sleazier Michael Sweet from Striper, which is pretty cool. I always think of that whenever I see the music videos and shit. So very cool. But yeah, The Devil and the Blues, great opening track. Great mid-tempo deal. And that's the other thing. Like I will say of the 12 tracks here, you do have their mid tempo feels in their songs, and just mid tempo songs is where their bread and butter's at for me. Like I think they sound that's where they're at their best, because there's a couple songs here that are more on the faster, sleazier side of things. But I think you kind of lose a little bit of the feeling on some of those songs, and they're not my favorite on the album. They're not hateful, but they're just not my favorite. I think where you see a lot of great riffs, great tone, great vocals is in the mid tempo stuff, the great atmosphere and great atmosphere and feeling to these songs. You got Rising on Fire, third track. Girl of South Dakota is a little bit more on the faster, higher tempo side, which I do enjoy. But they also mix in a little bit of a mid tempo feel to it too. Like they slow it down in certain spots, just a little bit, and enough to give you a little bit of a difference and to really take notice of it. But one of the music videos, the first one I ever seen of Devil's Train is the next track, track number 4, You Promise Me Love. This is like as sex appeal in your ears. It's just sex ear candy, man. Like this is a great song. Sleazy feel to it, just dripping with blues. Like now I will say when I'm saying like blues, it's not overpowering the blues, I would say, either, because I know like there are people out there that don't like their blues and their metal. But I think they kind of mix it up pretty well here. I don't think it's totally overpowering, like say the Graveyard Train from '93. I don't think it's really overpowering, kind of like that.
Okay, fellas, let's try one with that Memphis sound. Deep inside my heart, take one.
Or say a Tora Tora or Badlands, even. I think they kind of disguise it a little bit more, but it's hard to say. Like even if someone wasn't the biggest fan of the blues in their metal, I would still recommend this to them, because I think there's plenty of other things in here that they can look past without it being so blues oriented too. That makes sense.
Hey, this is Angie, and this is Brett. We are Smoking Snakes, and you're watching the Crash Course Metal Show. Yeah.
The first side here is really good. Track number 5, Ashes and Bone, title track. And then you got now the second side B is where I start losing interest in a couple of these songs here. Like More, not the biggest fan of. The other one, Man with a Gun, Hold the Line. Those three, they're just okay. But you do come back here with the final track, track number 12, with Word Up, which is a Cameo cover. If anyone's not aware, Cameo is a R&B artist or like pop artist. It came off of Cameo's album from 1984, if I remember correctly, 84 or 85 or 86. I can't remember. It's over here. I like that album. It has Candy on it, has Word Up, obviously, and a couple other deep tracks that weren't really hits. But no, and I really like their cover, Devil's Train's cover of Word Up, because it's a great song, the original, and they did a really good job making it into a rock/metal version of it. So that was really cool. I play that and had no issues at all, because I like sometimes a band can fuck up a cover song, or they can do a cover song and just not do nothing really like that different, but I think Devil's Train did a pretty good job here with this, and this is a cover song that I do have on the iPod and do approve of. So very cool. But no, that kind of wraps up. But like I said, like the last couple tracks on side B, like there's a couple tracks in side B that are just kind of weaker, and I'm just like, man, I just want to hear like the Devil and the Blues again, or like You Promise Me Love, like where they really start to where the songs where they really slow it down a little bit and just really put a spotlight on the riffage, on the tone, and just on the feeling of the song. And I dig that a lot. So but yeah, as far as like a couple tracks, I didn't pretty much name most of the tracks I do really enjoy that I would recommend to anybody. Devil in the Blues, You Promise Me Love. If you want something a little bit more upbeat, I would say Girl from South Dakota. I think you might dig. Rising on Fire, In the Heat of the Night. There's good stuff on here for being 12 tracks. Like I said, you could take probably 2 off and it would be a stronger album. Make it a 11 or 10 track album, and you'd be sitting really pretty with this album here. But with that being said, though, we do have about roughly 3-4 tracks that aren't going to make the cut onto the iPod. So as far as a rating goes, then that kind of knocks it down just a little bit. But I'm still going to give it a 3.5, an easy 3.5, depending on what day of the week here. It could hit even 4 certain days, depending how much of a blues phase I'm in. Like, because obviously I'm in a blues phase all the time, but like sometimes like it's like get out of the way. That's all I'm listening to, and only things that are oriented blues wise. And that's the thing. The opening track, "The Devil in the Blues," I think Robert Johnson, the blues OG, the blues great, I think he would approve of this song, of the title and of the song itself. Like if he was still alive today, 100 years later, like I think this would be something that he would have done, just electric style. So that is awesome. Like that's what I think of, especially like today when I was listening to that song. I'm like, I think Robert Johnson would dig this song, dude. Like that's awesome. But for 2022, can't ask for something better in 2022 with the landscape of metal in general, and just like of this kind of style of rock and metal, because it's not hair metal. It's not hair metal, but it has those roots with the blues, with just sleaziness, hard rock, southern stuff, just great. All the great things, all the great subgenres are mixed into one. And here you got Devil's a Train, the show for it. So, guys, I think that pretty much wraps up everything I want to say. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of Devil's Train, and also if you guys have even heard of Devil's Train before, because I know up until last year I didn't know who Devil's Train was, and I wish I did for years, because they've been out for 10 plus years now at least. And it's just a shame that over here in the USA, because they are from Europe, that you just don't hear anything like this. And thankfully for YouTube, and technology, and that kind of stuff changes. So now you do get to see these bands that just do not get seen just because of them not being in your backyard or on mainstream radio. So guys, check out Ashes and Bones. Like I said, I give it an easy 3 out of 5, and let me know. But until next time, guys, thank you for watching the Crash Course Metal Show. If you guys enjoy what we do here, click the subscribe button, click the like button. That helps get us out to more people, so we can show them all the forgotten and unknown bands in the rock and metal world. And that's what we love doing here. So until next time, guys, stay out of that collateral damage. And if you guys enjoyed this album review, check this one out right here.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called "I Want to Rock Your Body." And then in parentheses it says "To the Break of Dawn."